Hey everybody, Ron Phillips here. And I get a question very often from our clients, either before they purchase or after they've purchased. And that is, when is it the best time to sell my property and how am I going to know? There's a couple of different ways to figure that. One of them is to watch the market, and if you've got a ton of equity and you want to reposition it, then that's fine. The other way is to just use a calculation. It's a very simple calculation, but it's a very powerful one, and one that a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people, if they've heard of it, they don't understand exactly how to figure it or what it means. And so we're going to talk about return on equity and how to figure it and what it actually means. So let's get a couple of things out of the way first. Let's assume we're going to buy a $100,000 property. We're going to put 20% down, and we are the property, after all expenses, is going to cash flow $300 a month or $3,600 a year. Okay, so $100,000 purchase. We've put $20,000 down. That's 20%, and this property is going to cash flow $3,600 a year. Okay, so immediately we can say, okay, the return on investment first year, if we're $3,600 cash flow and we've got $20,000 down, then our initial return is simply $3,600 divided by $20,000, and that gives us a return on investment, cash return on investment, of 18%. Okay? Now, if you don't understand how to figure return on investment, I've got another video on that, but today we're going to do return on equity. So these are numbers that we need first year to be able to figure out what return on equity is second through fifth year, and you can do this for as long as you want. So the other part of this that we need is we need to know what the appreciation rate is. Now, rather than make this really complicated, I'm only going to use appreciation, but you also have principal buy down, which is affecting your equity, and you have appreciation, which is the purchase price going up, or the value of your property increasing. All right, and so let's say that is 5% per year. All right, and let's figure out what our equity is first every single year, 1 through 5. Also, to make this really simple, I'm just going to use simple interest. So I'm not going to compound anything. You need to understand that would happen, but I'm not going to do that. That way everybody can see the numbers, and the calculations of this will make a lot more sense. So year one, if our purchase price is $100,000 and we're getting 5% appreciation per year, then we should have first year, we should have $5,000 of new money or appreciated value, equity in our property. So we already have $20,000 of equity. That's what we figured our first return on. But now we have the $20,000 we put down, plus we have $5,000 worth of appreciation. So now our equity spread just increased to $25,000. So in order to calculate our second year return on equity, what we would do is we would take the $25,000 that we now have in equity, and we would divide our cash flow, assuming that it was the same and hadn't increased. We would divide $3,600 by $25,000, and that's going to give us our return on equity for that year, which is 14.4%. Now, why is our return on equity decreasing as our equity increases? Well, this is why the numbers are so important. I'm going to put up here all of the years, 1 through 5, and what you'll see is that in each year as the equity grows, our return on equity shrinks. And what that tells us is, okay, if your return on equity is 14.4%, In year 2, if you can go out and get an investment that's significantly higher than 14.4%, it may be a good time to sell. So let's watch how this progresses. Year 3, we've got $30,000 in equity. Year 4, we've got $35,000 in equity. And year 5, we've got $40,000 in equity. All right. So here we have 12%. Here we have 10.2, and here we have 9%. Okay, so what you can see is we started at 18%, and now we're all the way down to 9. We've had it cut in half. The reason being, we've doubled the amount of equity in our property. So there's a couple of things that you could do. If we don't want to have stagnant money sitting here earning 9% interest now, what we could do is we could borrow $20,000 out of this property, which then puts our return on equity, because now we have $20,000 left and we have $20,000 in cash we're going to go invest. What that allows us to do is return to 18% return on equity, and then we can go out and buy another property that's returning a higher amount. So let's say we go and repeat this again. Now we have 2 properties earning us 18% interest, and our equity is now returning what originally we wanted it to return. So this can help you in determining when it is that you want to sell a property. Let's say you had a property you bought for $100,000, but you bought it in 2009, and because of when you bought it, the returns have way outpaced 5%, and you're now sitting on $50,000 in equity. Well, what you've in essence done is you're now below 9% return on your equity. You could pull money out, or you could sell that property and you could put it into multiple other properties that will increase your return. So it's a fantastic and very powerful number to know and to figure on each one of your properties, so that you can know when to sell these for higher profits. So that's return on equity. If you have any questions about figuring return on equity on any of your properties, or whether or not you should be selling or refinancing your properties to go out and generate higher profits, just simply give us a call. We're happy to walk through your properties with you and help you understand how this affects you. It affects your returns on all of the money that you've got sitting invested in each one of these properties. I hope that was really helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please click like down there, subscribe to my videos, and I look forward to seeing you guys at my next live event.